Today we're going to be talking about the brand new P18C in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I got the footage and broke it down for you guys so we can take a look at this machine pistol and determine where it excels and where it falls short. The P18C fires 9mm ammo. It only deals 19 damage. That is not only the least damaging pistol, it's the least damaging gun in the entire game. It can be fired single fire or full auto, making it the only pistol capable of being fired full auto. And if you're firing it in full auto, it's capable of delivering 1,000 rounds per minute. That's a shot every 0.06 seconds. Now, it's not the easiest to control, as you can see from these clips here, and if you are firing in full auto, you are going to have to fight it to stay on target. It has a capacity of 17 rounds per magazine. If you compare that to all of the other pistols that do not have extended magazines on them, it is the largest magazine in the pistol class. And if you get your hands on an extended capacity magazine, it bumps that up to 25 rounds per magazine. And again, that is the largest magazine in the pistol class. A full reload with this weapon is going to take about 2 seconds, and if you have a round left in the chamber, a tactical reload is going to take 1.7 seconds. That falls in line with the P92 and the P1911 almost perfectly. And if you manage to get your hands on a quick draw magazine, you're going to see that standard 30% reload time reduction, a full reload dropping to 1.4 seconds, and a tactical reload dropping to 1.19 seconds. And obviously, if you can manage to get your hands on an extended quick draw magazine, that is the best of both worlds, and you should absolutely equip that to your pistol. Now, with this update, the P18C, as well as the P92 and the P1911, can now all equip red dot optics onto the gun. Only the red dot is allowed. No other optics can be mounted to the weapon. And unfortunately, the revolver is still left out in the cold. It is the only pistol now that cannot mount any optics. And if you throw that on the P18C, you're going to see your ADS speed increase by a factor of 20%. So now let's talk about this weapon at range, its sound profile, and how much you're going to have to lead targets. This weapon is zeroed at 25 meters as a standard for all pistols. It has a muzzle velocity of 375 meters per second. That's pretty quick for a pistol, but it's about in line with submachine guns, and it's about half that of the muzzle velocity of ARs and sniper rifles. Really, the max range of this pistol is gonna be about 100 meters. You might be able to get some lucky shots off past that, but because it can only mount red dots as its optics, landing a shot past 100 meters is very difficult. So we're only gonna take a look at that for leading, and as you can see here, at about 100 meters with a red dot sight, you're gonna have to lead about this much to consistently hit your target, running in a full sprint perpendicular to you. Now, at that range, your weapon is only going to deal 15 damage. It already dealt a small amount of damage at 19 up close, and at 100 meters, it falls off to 15% damage. That is a very small amount of damage. It's really hard for me to verify damage numbers at a range past 100 meters with the weapon, as I discussed before. But if we assume a similar fall-off profile, then after around 450 meters, it's possible this weapon simply does no damage at all. And finally, let's take a look at the sound of this weapon. If you do not have anything equipped on the muzzle of this weapon, it can be heard from about 350 meters away. It's about the same sound profile as the UMP. I suspect all of the weapons chambered for 9mm have this similar sound profile, but around 350 meters, you will not really be able to hear this weapon, and anything below that distance, you will slowly begin to hear it until it gets louder and louder. And we're going to go ahead and listen to a sound of this weapon unsuppressed firing at range, so you might be able to identify it in game. And if you put a suppressor on this weapon, you will not be able to hear it firing at 100 meters. Yes, much like the UMP, this weapon is silent at 100 meters. Anything before that, and you will hear it firing, though it will be a different, softer sound than if it were unsuppressed. But this makes this weapon, again, a very powerful stealth weapon. I'll go ahead and throw it up so you can hear what that weapon sounds like firing at range. So perhaps in game, you can identify a suppressed P18C. And as always with the suppressor, and in this side-by-side you'll see, it completely eliminates the muzzle flash of this weapon. So what's the takeaway here, guys? What's the conclusion? As always, the P18C seems like a very viable CQC weapon that is close quarters combat. If you turn a corner and somebody gets a jump on you, if you hose them down in full auto, this weapon puts a lot of rounds downrange very quickly. Now, it does do very limited damage. If you come across somebody who has armor, it is going to take a ton of bullets to kill that person unless you are consistently hitting them in the head. I don't really see this weapon as having a place in any real ranged combat. It is very limited, as many of the pistols are, in its capabilities at range, but up close this weapon could save your life. And with the newest changes to pistols being that they can be drawn faster, if you do run out of ammo in a close quarters fight from your primary, it may be smarter to switch to a secondary, especially if you have this weapon, than it would be to merely attempt to reload your primary and continue the fight with that weapon. And finally, if you can manage to get your hands on an extended capacity magazine, that is going to really significantly increase your capacity from 17 to 25. I'd say it's the smarter bet over the quick draw, but of course, if you can get an extended quick draw, that's going to be the preferable magazine attachment to put on this weapon. I want to give a big shout out to LazyGun8 who helped me collect this footage, and I also want to give a big shout out to Pubg.me who helped me get a lot of the hard numbers that you've seen in this video here today. Check them out, guys. They have got great statistics. And I got great news, guys. I managed to get access to a custom server, so I'm going to try and get a bonus episode out on the Groza as soon as I possibly can. Leave a comment if I got anything wrong below. Like and subscribe if you want to see more OCD content. I'm MagnumDopus. Keep crunching those numbers.